Hey everybody, this is Brian, Civic Minded Lessick here. I want to talk to everybody out there who might currently own a PlayStation 4 video game console. I get a question that's asked periodically about how much space can it max out at? How much storage space can I get out of my PlayStation 4? And if you look on the internet and you Google it and you see how much can I possibly store, what's the maximum storage capacity? A lot of times you're going to see answers that refer to the internal hard drive space, which is a maximum of 2 terabytes. And then you get another figure that says, well, it can support an external hard drive that can keep up to 8 terabytes of information. So that's all fine and great. That's wonderful. But I've been asked recently, so can you add two external hard drives onto a PS4? Now, again, if you go on the internet right now, you look for an answer to that, the answer you're going to find is no, you can't do it. Well, I'm here to tell you that you absolutely can do it, but there is a caveat to this. So let's start off by saying one thing right up front, and that is you absolutely can have a maximum storage capacity at any given time on a PlayStation 4 of 18 terabytes. That's right, 18. Okay, and this is how it's done. First, let's swing our camera right over here, and I'm going to show you what I have going. So if you can look inside here, I have two separate external hard drives. These are both Western Digital, and they're both 8 terabytes each, okay? And these are currently hooked up to my PlayStation 4, which is a PlayStation 4 Pro, I should specify, but this will work on either the PlayStation 4 Pro or the regular PlayStation 4 model. So let me take you up here. We'll take a look at what we're looking at here. All right. So, as you can see right now, we have an external storage below there. Let's see. Boom. All right, look at that. So there's a storage capacity of 7.35 terabytes there, right? Well, that's one of the external hard drives. That's one of the 8 terabyte hard drives that renders 7.35 terabytes of useful space. And as you can see right now, I'm utilizing 7.15 terabytes of that space, hence that really gigantic blue bar you see. Now, above here, that's the internal hard drive. And that's maximum of 2 terabyte capacity. And what I have in mind right now is a SSD drive. So right now I'm not using a whole lot of space on that. It's 179.5 gigabytes of storage. So, all right, that's great. But as you can see right now, again, back to this, we're pretty much maxed out on space on this external drive. So what do you do? So I recently had somebody say, hey, how can I connect 2 drives at a time? Well, let's go back just a bit. So while it's possible to connect 2 drives at one time, it should be noted that the answer you're going to find on the internet with regard to can it support 2 drives at a time, it's partly true, but it's also mostly false. So you can't have 2 external hard drives supported and active at the same time. Now that's key. So basically what that means is if you connect more than one external hard drive at a time, it will only ever recognize one device at a time through the USB connection. So let's look down here. I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about. So as you can see right now, both of my front USB ports, they're connected to those external hard drives. All right. So that's important to keep in mind. Now notice I don't have a hub, I don't have a splitter splitting those USBs. They are both occupying 2 of the proprietary USB ports on the front of the PlayStation 4 console. This is important to keep in mind, okay? So yeah, they're both connected right now, but you're looking at this and you're seeing, well, he only has one that's showing up. What's the deal with that? Well, here's what you have to do in order to have 2 drives working at the same time. Let's go in here. Sorry for the shaky camera. I'm doing this one-handed here. All right, USB storage devices. Now, here we go. So these are my 2 external hard drives. The top one there is the one that we already looked at. That's the one 8 terabyte drive that is almost already completely filled at this point, as you can see. But you can also see this little icon here, green. That's the one that's currently activated and in use and is currently being activated and recognized by the system itself. The one below here is an identical drive. Boom. but it's not activated right now. It's not being recognized by the system, but it is connected. So the PS4 knows it's there, but it can't run them at the same time. In other words, you're not going to be able to use both drives simultaneously. You can have them connected, you can have them both recognized by the system, but only one can operate at any given time. All right, so the way around this here, let's walk back a little bit. I'm going to choose that other drive. I'm going to tell it to use this extended storage drive. And it's going to say, are you sure? Yes, I am sure. Allow us to continue. Okay. Let's back out of here. All right. Now, that little flashing icon up there, it looks like a little drive, right? That's it just telling it right now. That's telling you that it's firing up that other disk drive. It's going to make sure that the other hard drive is going to be acknowledged. So it takes a little bit of time for this to go away. Depending on how much information it has to like pre-cache, it's going to take, maybe a couple minutes. I know that 8 terabytes, if you go back to an 8 terabyte drive and it's filled with information, it takes the better part of about 30 minutes for it to, reestablish itself and get it ready for use on the PS4. So in the meantime, while this is loading, I'm going to take you on a little quick tour here and show you what the library looks like. So let's see. All right. So I just want to show you. So let's take Dead by Daylight, for example here. So it has that little icon down there, a little exclamation point telling me, there's some kind of warning there. Basically what that's doing is it's reminding me that, yeah, that game is loaded on this console, but it's not on this new hard drive. It's not on the one that it's going to be acknowledging here in a couple seconds. Okay, so for the new external hard drive that we're loading up right now, it's telling me it's not on there. All right, so that's important to keep in mind, because then when we go into our library here, again, doing this one-handed, sorry guys. Go down there, go over to the library. Okay, boom. I said boom. Takes a second to load. There we go. All right. So you're going to see a lot of these popping up here. You can see all these titles that it knows that I have bought, either DLC, digital download, or disc. It's telling me that these don't exist on this hard drive that we're loading up. And that's important to remember. You haven't lost that data. It's just going to be on that other drive. So here's the situation. So this is it's a workaround, and it's kind of a way to circumvent having to actually physically disconnect different drives. I mean, if you want to do it that way, theoretically, you could have an infinite number of external hard drives, and every time you want to swap one out, you literally just, disconnect one, through the system, then disconnect the USB port, power down the system, turn it back on with a new hard drive, and, reestablish it. You can do that. That's completely viable if you want to do that and just buy multiple drives. But if you just want to kind of do without all the headache of that and just have it like at hand, this is kind of a simpler way to do it. Now I know what you're probably thinking too. Okay, so probably thinking like, wow, Civic, you already had, 2 terabytes of internal, or 2 terabytes of internal hard drive space and then 8 additional external. But here's the deal, like games these days, we know that these files are huge. Okay, they can be, gigabytes upon gigabytes. And if you play a lot of AAA titles, a lot of these bigger end games, they can take the better part of, a significant part of the hard drive space to store. And now, being as the PS4 now is a couple years old now, there's a lot of titles for it. And if you've been if you've been like a PlayStation Plus member for long enough, you're going to have a lot of games probably in your download queue, things like this that you want to have around, you want to play them. So now instead of just having them in your queue and like loading them and unloading them, deleting them and all that stuff when you want to, now basically you can just like download them, in perpetuity, just have them on hand. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. It's a fairly straightforward process. I think this is already loaded. Let's just see if that icon went away. Yeah, okay. So we're ready. We can fire this thing up now. Any one of these games that is in the library that doesn't have that little icon. So you can see it now. Like, so, if I want to play Fist of the North Star now, just pop in the disc and play. Doom is ready. Doom Eternal. Yeah, so these are all games that I just recently loaded on here. Call of Duty, Modern Zone, Warzone. So we have all these. We're good if we want to play them now. Um, Again, I think the cost of hard drives has come down enough now where it's probably a little more affordable for people. If you do have an extra hard drive laying around, you're good. Now, I want to just reestablish one thing, and I'm not sure if I had mentioned this previously, but this does warrant mentioning. The absolute ceiling of memory capacity for the PlayStation 4 to recognize internally is 2 terabytes. If you're going to swap in any kind of other like laptop drive, any 2.5 inch drive, anything like that, it's fine. You can do an SSD, you can do a standard hard drive, hybrid drive, whatever, but the capacity cannot exceed 2 terabytes internally. It just won't recognize it. You're going to cause problems. It's going to corrupt your data, all that kind of fun stuff. So you want to stay away from that. So far as external drives go, 8 terabytes is the max per drive. So you can get an 8 terabyte external drive. That's fine. You can use anything. You can use a 2, a 3, a 4, up to an 8, but don't exceed 8. So at any given time, doing the technique that I am recommending here, if you're interested in doing it, you could never really exceed 18 terabytes. So that's your 2 internal and 2 separate 8 terabyte external drives, giving you 16 plus those 2 is 18. So 18 terabytes. I think that's probably enough. I don't know. I mean, I guess we'll have to revisit that in the future sometime. Maybe they'll update their firmware and it can, accept larger capacity drives. Who knows? Sony's always switching stuff up. So anyway, this is a real quick, spur of the moment, unprofessional video. I hope that this kind of answers any questions you might have. I don't think there's really anything else to cover other than just, be patient with this, try it out. I've been using this technique now for several months now. It's completely fine. I haven't run into any kind of problems with it. Works great. So, check it out, try it out, and, get good.